Hi, my name is Brittany Kaplan, and I will be speaking about managing your speech anxiety. First of all, I would like you all to introduce yourselves to the camera.
Hi, Sarah Handy.
Wanda Dowden.
Katie Weckerman.
Dennis Basmajian.
And in front of you, you will have an evaluation sheet. So there are 7 different categories, and please just check off yes or no in regards to how I perform my speech. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Some of you may be familiar with the lyrics from rapper Eminem's hit Lose Yourself, and many of you may be familiar with the feelings described. Your hands so sweaty that you can't grip the podium, the feeling of butterflies having a party in your stomach, or the fear that no matter how much you try, no sound will come out of your mouth. We all have different approaches to standing up in front of a crowd, but no matter what our methods are, many of us still face anxiety before stepping in front of an audience. According to a Pocket Guide to Public Speaking, at least 75% of students in public speaking courses approach the course with anxiety. That means that 3/4 of our class are facing apprehension before they submit their final video. However, by identifying what makes us anxious, figuring out when anxiety begins, and learning confidence-boosting strategies, we can learn how to manage our speech anxiety and deliver a strong performance. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of giving a big presentation? Is it the fear of staring at an audience that's looking back at you with a blank stare? Or is it the fact that you just know the words won't come out right? By thinking about the speech and seeing what scares you, you can work to figure out the cause of your anxiety. The Pocket Guide tells us that by identifying at which stage you become anxious, it can help you lessen your fear. Many times, people fear giving speeches because they don't have the experience. I know that I'm very inexperienced when it comes to giving speeches without having detailed visual aids. People fear giving speeches without experience because they believe that all the other students are at a different level than them. Some students then try to avoid giving a speech, thus not giving them the preparation they really need, and then the cycle continues and they never are able to have the skills that they desire. People can work to fix this by practicing in front of small groups and peers and building a confidence that will only come from practicing. Other times people fear giving speeches because they feel that they're completely different than everyone else, and this difference is viewed as negative. They fear that the topics they enjoy won't interest the rest of the class, or their speech will be the one that no one likes. However, you can focus on the fact that according to Pocket Guide, everyone is different from everyone else in many ways. And nearly everyone experiences nervousness about giving a speech. You can pride yourself on your differences while realizing that you aren't as different from everyone as you think. Last, many people experience the fear of being the center of attention. The speech we deliver is the most important speech in the class to us, and the audience feels the same way. So they might be sitting there thinking about their speech instead of paying attention to yours, and you might feel that you're doing something wrong when you're looking out at them and they're not looking back attentively. You may then start to continue to focus on the audience instead of your speech, and you may start to lose your confidence and lose your thought. The best way to avoid this distraction is to remember that this is your moment. This is your one chance of delivering your speech, and you can't worry about the reaction of your peers. You can look at your peers for minor cues, such as you might be going a little off topic, but you're the one in control of your speech, and you're the one getting the grade. Once you discover the initial cause behind your speech anxiety, you still have a couple steps to go before you are fully successful in overcoming it. You need to next figure out when your anxiety strikes. Before you prepare your speech, while you prepare your speech, before you perform, or during the performance. There are some students so scared of giving a speech that they will not sign up for any course that requires a speech. In the 2007 article, Don't Be Shy by Rachel Aviv, it is mentioned in 1965, 16 students were considering dropping out of Penn State University because they didn't want to take the required speech course. The students suffered anxiety once they knew a speech was required. The anxiety prevented the students from being able to ever begin the speech, and once their anxiety begins that early, it's almost impossible to continue on. It is best to either take a course like a speech anxiety course where they work up your audience size and they guide you to talking to larger crowds and giving a speech, or getting professional help. Speaking skills are usually necessary in obtaining a job, so the student must eventually overcome their fear in order to be successful in the future. The actual process of preparing a speech can cause anxiety because of the time and planning that's required. The student might want to procrastinate because they feel so overwhelmed, and then once they try and pick it up later, there's even more work to be done because they've procrastinated. The best way to avoid this is by breaking down the speech into minor assignments, such as write the outline one day, the introduction the next, etc. The breaking up of tasks help the student focus on having a little bit done by a certain period of time instead of a large amount of things to do at once. Once the speech is written, the student can face anxiety while practicing the speech. Soon they will face an audience of people who will be watching and listening only to them. The student could begin to second guess their entire speech and just want to quit rehearsing altogether. I believe that the best method of overcoming this anxiety is to practice in front of a few peers, because they'll be the ones to help you gain your confidence, plus they'll tell you if your speech really does need to be fixed. The form of speech anxiety that typically comes to mind when you mention speech anxiety is performance anxiety. For the majority of people, anxiety levels to be highest just before they begin speaking. This is typically the part you see in movies where the hands are so sweaty and they have that I'm gonna be sick moment. The best trick is to just focus on getting through the introduction, because once you overcome the introduction, normally everything else is easy. However, like Lisa Wright wrote in her article, Executives Learn How to Beat Stage Fright, everyone gets nervous. So since we all get nervous, we need to find a way to manage our nerves instead of trying to avoid them. If we maintain our confidence throughout our speeches, we are better able to recover from anxiety or mask it. The only way we can gain confidence is through practice. The more you practice a speech, the more comfortable you feel. According to Pocket Guide, if you're more confident that you know your material and have adequately rehearsed your delivery, you'll feel far more confident at the podium than otherwise. In addition, when you are more confident with your speech, your mind has a little room to wander and you can pay more attention to your audience and your visual aids. Other ways you can gain confidence are through thinking positively, visualizing, seeking pleasure in the occasion, and learning from your experiences. You can't change what's already happened. So instead, focus on what's to come and work on making your speech even better. The audience doesn't want to see you get angry over a mistake, which they probably won't even notice anyway, and it is much more professional if you recover and just move on. It takes much more grace and effort to focus on the positives of the speech, but it's worth it in the end. And before I begin my conclusion, do you have any questions?
No.
Alright. Speech anxiety can be turned around, if you know how to manage it. By identifying what makes you anxious, figuring out when anxiety begins, and learning confidence-boosting strategies, you can control your anxiety and deliver a confident speech. The little tricks that you figure out for yourself will be the ones that will help you for the rest of your life in many different situations. Managing your anxiety can help you firmly grip the podium and finally silence the butterflies flying in your stomach.
Thank you.